host set up. I don't know if it's working or not. Maybe I have to go to the manager. There we go. Okay, so we are officially not hosting now. We are live, I hope. Okay, so today is, of course, a special day. We are doing the CBDC showcase. For those of you that have not been with us before, this is a monthly challenge issued out to all builders, regardless of faction or region. It's just kind of a funsies kind of thing to do. It's typically there's no special reward. We don't judge or hand out prizes or anything. But this month was a little different. I decided to hook up with Green Ghost, who hosts a museum theme build on NA, and they mentioned that they were looking for builders to contribute artworks to their museum. And the idea is that they would not only showcase it, but have the builder's name next to it, and it'd be a way to kind of have it all in one place, an example of the variety and creativity expressed by builders from all over. So I asked Green if we could kind of tag along with that and use it as a challenge for this month. And one of the stipulations that Green had was that every entry had to be within the 50 decor limit. That's to ensure that they can host as many works of art as possible, because we do have specific decor limits, and if you let every builder contribute something 100 items plus, it makes it really impossible to have several on display at any given time. So keeping the count 50 or below for each contribution ensures that Green can host a good number of examples from all over the place. So we took that challenge, and we had a lot of nice projects come out of it. I myself kind of went crazy again. I think I had a total of about 14, maybe more than that. There was actually a few that didn't qualify because I went over the limit. And there will be some others that we're going to be showing today from other builders that also went over the limit, but I'm going to show them anyway to say, look, this is what they attempted, and give them kudos for at least trying to contribute something, even if it didn't make the cut. Of course, after this is over, I will be submitting a full list of all of those that fit the criteria, the 50 decor below, to Green, and it will be up to them to go through all of the projects and decide which ones they would like to add. It may be that they may contact you even beyond what they have promised. I think it probably depends on how much space they have left once everything is said and done. But they have guaranteed that at least 5 projects from this month's challenge will be entered into their museum for posterity or future viewing or whatever. And then one of those 5 will get a special kind of like a red carpet treatment, a red rope added kind of display for their entry. So, it's not it's not like a prize award kind of thing. It's just kind of an extra nod kind of deal. And I thought it would be an extra good incentive for builders this month to know that their projects would be considered for this very collaborative work on Green's plot. Now, the plot itself is on the character of Astral Girl, Astral Girl. I believe it's exiles. I don't think it really matters anymore since we can visit both factions no matter what faction we are. So if you want to look at it and you have access to entity side, feel free to drop by Astral Girl. It's called I think it's the Millennium City Museum. It might not be the exact name of the plot, but that's where the pieces are going to be going. So I would really recommend checking it out, not only to see the entries that made it from our little challenge, but those that are being contributed through Green themselves, people contacting Green and all that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. We're starting on NA side. We only had, excuse me, one NA player submit some tidbits for us to look at. Now you'll see there's this one here, this big one here. That one wasn't entered because, as far as I'm aware, it's above the limit. I suspect it's all these little pieces here that probably, and the bushes as well, that really raised it up. But they didn't mention it. The only two that they submitted was this one here and this one over here. So we're going to talk about the Taco Girl first. I have no idea if this is in reference to something or what, but we'll see what it is. And oh yes, thank you, Poi. I have it ready. I just forgot to push the button. And good morning to everyone that is joining us, and thank you so much, guys, for the hosts. I appreciate it. So yeah, the tweet is sent out. Anyway, this is the plot of Chosen Blades, I think is how you pronounce it. I kept saying blots. I don't know why, but I kept saying Chosen Blots, and then I realized it was probably Blades, B-L-A-D-Z. Also known as Seraphim from the WildStar official forums. That's how they contacted me. But they called this Invader Zim's Taco Girl. It is a total of 32 pieces, so it fits well within the 50-piece limit. I assume it includes the frame here and all of the background and stuff. Most of this red bit, aside from the Chua pillars on the sides and the bottom, I believe those are all from the Dominion style streamers that you can get off of the housing vendor. We have an Exile version, which is blue, and they're using the red one. Of course, they've got the taco decor. And then for the robot itself, it looks to be a couple of the Soul Frost wells from the Octera zone. A detonator. It's really hard to get a good shot of it, but a little detonator for the little blinky light on top of his antenna. And it looks like mostly Granok. There we go. Struggling for the name there. You really haven't missed much, or we just got started. So you're perfect timing there. Good morning. Granite versions of like probably cylinders and domes, not only for his head but also for his body, his joints, his feet, and his hands. It looks like for his tongue, it looks like a Chua pillow. I say his, I guess it's her since it's Taco Girl, but there you go. It's a very cute little icon. It'd be a great for like a mascot type of thing, or somebody's kind of idea of a advertisement billboard if they're have a little taco shop that they want to have something on there. I'm not sure what they're using for the belly thing. I want to say it's one of those new Retros cubes, but I'm not for positive on that. That's what it kind of looks like to me. I don't really have any of that decor, so I can't say for sure. Good morning, Bones. Well, that sounds pretty rough. Mobile client on a train. Well, if you don't talk too much, we'll understand. But glad you could join us. Anyway. The next project that Chosen submitted was the, let me make sure I get this right, the Cowboy Freebot. And again, I assume it includes the curtains and such, but it might just be the bit behind it, and this is just extra dressing. I really don't know. But they listed it as a total of 31 pieces, so it's one piece fewer than the other one. This one again is using those streamers for that nice little outline. And for his body, it looks to be mostly vent tanks, a couple of those Tech loading arms, and wow, I don't know what this piece is. It looks like one of those OSUN bits that goes on the wall. Of course, the gun is, I think it's the Zapper as well, and then his hat is, of course, the judge's hat. For the eyeball, it looks like, it's really hard to see because you can't get like too close. It looks like a bowl with part of it, I think, is the orange window, and then maybe a vent tank in the middle. I know it looks like it might be something else, but part of the coloring is a little obscured because of the lighting in the room. Everything's got that reddish hue, so it's a little tough to say expressly, but I'm pretty sure that's a bowl with a window in it, and then something else being used for the pupil of the eye. Is it Gur? Well, this said Taco Girl, so I don't know. Or are you talking about this one? I have no idea. I'm just going by the names that they listed. They said Invader Zim Taco Girl, and this one is called the Cowboy Freebot. Beyond that, I have no idea. But I think it's a cute idea. I mean, you could probably build lots of these, have a little robot army, or maybe you want to have some kind of a factory with robots running the machinery. This would be a relatively, I mean, because if you're doing it like for just the robots rather than having a painting, then you would probably cut back down to, I would say, about half the decor is the robot itself, and that's not too expensive for having some fake NPCs if you don't want to, or if you've capped out your special, that kind of thing. But yeah, so thank you much for Chosen's projects submitted. Now I am going to take a look at this one just because it's here, and obviously they didn't submit it. It was already here along with these, so I assume they specifically didn't submit this one because it was well over the limit. But I just want to show you an up close look of this house. You can see, my apologies to whoever just invited me to a guild. I'm not really interested in that, but you can see all of the detail, all of the windows that they've used, the 2x4s for the crosses up top, the triangle pieces, all the hover part pieces for the building itself, all of the bushes, the little brambles being used. There's even a little hugel sitting on the branch here. The moon, I think, is just a giant dome, granite style. It's got that nice marbly kind of effect. And of course, the background, those that have been doing nighttime paintings usually have to kind of make up something that they can use as the stars. And this one, they're utilizing that newer piece, the diorama space set. It's basically just a kind of a frame with the sparkly sky inside it. We've seen people using it as skylights already to kind of make it look like an open area to the sky, even though it's an interior place. I'm sure there's going to be lots of other uses. I know someone that used it in a bunker house, just capped the whole ceiling to make it look like an outdoor scene on the interior. So I think of the two diorama pieces of that nature, the space one is by far the favorite, and it seems to be the least common when it comes to getting it from the Madame Faye drops. I see a lot of the desert ones for sale, but never anybody asking for them. So, but yeah, really a pretty effort. Obviously, it's way too many pieces for the challenge, but I like the effort put into it. So, okay, let me switch this to our Be Right Back while I switch regions here. It's going to take me a minute. Hopefully not too long, though. Come on. Gotta hit the cogwheel. Whoops. That's not good. Don't say whoops. Excuse me. Almost there. All right, Aurora, good time for a coffee break while I switch over. Now I'm gonna sneak into this next place because we haven't toured it yet, but the plan is we will be touring it very soon. So I'm going to just kind of bypass all of this. Make you guys wait until later. You get to see the whole thing. Alrighty, we are back on Jebbit. This is the Twilight Woods plot from Issa Irie, aka Maddie. We're going into, I guess it's the bunker house. And Maddie put together this lovely little piece. My husband knew what it was. I had no idea. I recognized it, but I didn't know the name. But he said it's a, let me see if I pronounce this right, a Mondrian style painting. Apparently, this particular artist is known for this kind of style where it's blocks of white with primary colors mixed in. And so there you have it. I don't know if it's considered abstract or whatever. I have no idea if it's supposed to mean something or if it's got a special name or whatever, but it's a Mondrian style painting. Maddie said this was 32 pieces, so it's the same amount as the Taco Girl. Pardon me with the crunch, but I've got a cough drop and I'm afraid I'm going to choke on it. So I'm going to go ahead and crunch it up. It looks to be, I want to say metal planks for the framing. I could be wrong about that though, but it looks pretty thick. It could be the edges of one of the walls. I don't think it's like picture frame bits for that. Now these separations here, those could be. It's really hard to tell. But they gotta, you can see how some of them are a little wider than others, and I think that has more to do with the sizing of it. So I imagine it's probably, if it were me, I would do like the edges of the walls. Like I think either I want to say the Cassian one has actual like lines on it, so I don't think it's this one because this looks pretty smooth. But something along those lines, like maybe the Granok one. I think that one's a smooth, kind of a metal trim on it, and then just sizing it down differently for the different sections. For the red, I suspect it's either, I want to say it's probably the Exile uh, walls, but it could be maybe the fireworks as well. Kind of hard to tell. You can see there's several pieces there layered up to get the full square. Um, for the yellow, again, I'm not for positive. It could be any of the golden pieces, like the golden lighter, or the back of the air conditioner. There's even some yellow bits from the fireworks pieces. For the blue, um, just because of the richness, it looks like the firework one, because it's so deep blue, but we've got a lot of blue items that maybe would work as well. I don't think it's like the folded shirt. The folded shirt's a lot, it's almost the color of this blue, this gray blue. So I don't think it's that. And of course they were going for the really primary looking. So for the white though, I'm pretty sure, excuse me, I keep hiccuping. I'm pretty sure those are the bottoms of the gear trophies for all of the white parts. Now, probably the best way to do this kind of thing is to have the um, the frame and the lines, the black lines, out considerably so that anything you put behind it will kind of blend in. And obviously, sticking really close to these edges is probably pretty tough, especially for the colored areas. Um, but Maddie did a great job on that. Looks very nice and clean and uniform. Welcome back, Aurora. Yeah, I knew I would recognize it, but my husband immediately knew the name. I was like, oh, okay, let me write that down. Okay, so Maddie on another plot has a few pieces that we're going to look at. Now, I don't know the specific number of pieces for each of these. Maddie just said 10 or so pieces for each one, so some may be, considerably fewer than 10, and some may be a little above 10, but they're all within the limits, and you'll understand why that's pretty obvious in a moment. Excuse me. Now, some of you may remember this. This is Maddie's theater that they built with the stage being outfitted with a past uh, challenge that we did regarding fairy tales. But all along the theater walls, there are these little paintings that Maddie put in. Now, some of them are a little tough to get a good look at because of the narrowness of the hallway. And I did my best to get good screenshots of each one, which I'll be posting those both on Twitter and in the forums later. But it's probably best that you come and look at this up close and in person, because, like I said, some of them were just kind of hard to spot. But if I remember right, all of the framework is basically just two bowls. It's the same kind of concept I used for the pies. We've seen people use it for gazebos and other types of things, and Maddie decided to use it for the framework for all of these paintings. The base or canvas of each one changes depending on what it is, but I think a lot of them are bottle bottoms. They're all shiny, and but they have different colors. Like this one looks more of a greenish blue, and this is more of a blue. So I suspect this one's like the blue file, whereas this one is probably one of the wine bottles or something. Some are a little bit more simplistic than others, so I haven't included all of them in this, but I'll go ahead and show them all, because with the challenges we're looking for, custom built stuff. So if it's just a framework with, you know, a plant put in, that's not too much. But like this one, you can see it looks like a grain bag for the dirt, for the sand. Then they're using the crimson bone bloom, and then it looks like uh, it's either I don't think it's a lamp, but I suspect it's like maybe I don't think it's the orange orange window either, because it's pretty yellow, so maybe it is a light. The only light I can think of is maybe the hanging fancy lamp, the end of that for the sun. But I like the way it's very simple. It's just a few pieces. I mean, it's two pieces for the frame, one for the background, and then you have the couple pieces for very simplistic but easy to do. Lots of people could pull this off on, you know, their house walls, um, wherever they're deciding to do it, and not have to spend too much on the painting. Some of us, I think, we get into the details and it gets kind of crazy. You think it's a mushroom? It could, I don't know. Do we have a yellow mushroom? Could be. Could be like one of the dots on it or something. I'm not really sure. This one here, again, I think it's one of the bottom of a bottle, with a little bit of overgrowth and a couple of these, I don't remember the name of them. They're like the new Arctera flowers. I think you can get them as drops, just randomly goofing around in Arctera. This one I had the most trouble with trying to get up close to try and get a good view. You can see Maddie's used some of the spring decor. There's the spring flowers and the fences and the archway, and then some of the like yellow swirly trees. It's a green bottle, so I suspect it's one of the wine bottles. I'm just constantly jumping trying to get a good shot, but it's really hard to. There's like no place to stand on. The wall is completely smooth, and I just can't jump high enough for long enough. Hey, Maddie. Good morning. I think your ears were burning. You knew we were talking about you. But let's see. For the others over here, we've got a winter scene using some of the. It's really hard to get a good shot. I think it's the little moon is either a couple of bananas, or I suspect it's the gold bit off of one of the fence pieces. I at first I thought it come from the lop altar kind of thing, but I know it has like a glowy effect, and you don't see that going on, so I'm pretty sure that's not it. Well, you know, that's up to Green to decide if they want to include any one of these. But I like it because, again, like you said, it's extremely light on decor. A lot of the examples we have on our challenges, not just this particular challenge, but others, like I've said in the past, they're not always practical. I find these highly practical. Anybody could include them in a residence. Maybe they want some of these for like in a bar, or a cabin, a motel, any kind of place. And these are nice decor friendly types of decorations for your walls, rather than constantly sticking with the ready-made pictures and posters and such. So yeah, while you may not feel they're museum worthy, I consider them a great example of just how simplified you can go, but still make something really interesting and unique. Oh, is it? Okay, well, my first instinct was right then. I suspect these are like the I would say maybe the snow clumps for the snow, and of course the Arctera trees for all of the. So that's part of the Lop shrine. I thought I recognized it, but I know there's a lot of little golden pieces that have that little mark as well. This is one of the exonite plants with a little bit of overgrowth and then the green bottle background. This is probably one of my faves. I like. I always get stuck here. I don't know why. Doesn't look like there's anything there, but again, I'm having trouble trying to zero in. It looks like those ever-burning bushes or whatever they're called. There's a little bit of movement. That's the only downside to using plants in your paintings and such. When they have the movement, you have to kind of contend with that. Looks like some bramble for the ground back here, and then again, one of the blue bottles for the background. This one here is just a framed lily leaf. This one is some of those, oh, I don't know what they're called, violet. And then they've got the winter version as well, again with the green bottle background. Is it the shrine stairs? I wonder, because it's just this one spot. Everywhere else it seems fine. It's like, just get stuck. You just have to do a little hop. These are the blue pod plants. I always get tongue-tied with that. Yeah, okay, I never noticed that. But it is. How weird. Well, it makes me feel taller. That's the plus. This is the yellow flower with the green background. This one's the blossom, the bloom. It's the one that costs renown, like $250, $300. This is the vase that I often like for quickie flower groupings. This one for sure I am planning to list out for green. I don't know what those are. Those what are the leaves made out of? Is that just a giant flower and I'm like totally oblivious to where it comes from? It looks like stones or asteroids or something. The yellow flower, again, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like weird little bulbs. Then you've got this one here that kind of looks like a, what do you call it? Like a squid or jellyfish or something. Oh, is it one of the potted ones? Well, I would have never recognized that. And I have some of those. What's this one? This looks like several of the, oh, what is it, the tulip thingies? The ones that has little sparklies that come down? That's what it reminds me of. With a little bit of overgrowth there. This, I think, is the yellow flowers, but a bunch of them together to make this really leafy sunflower. And then this one is the far side space sweets. Let's see, did I find them all? Those are just masks. Yeah, I think it's this same flower, just big and lots of them. I think that's all of them. Probably could include the window here because that's kind of a painting too, but it's pretty simple. Aquarium fishes with the draped like fins. Well, I'm not familiar with my fishes, so I couldn't tell you what it's supposed to be. I think the only one I know of is like the guppy. I think that's one of those, it almost like a goldfish. It has the big eyes. But yeah. And yes, Aurora, this whole plot is amazing. So if you haven't seen it, we've toured it in the past. If you haven't seen it, definitely come in and take a look. There's just so much detail. I mean, just like with the walls and stuff, just crazy. So next we'll go ahead and quickly run through my stuff on Kulentro's place. I promised way back that I would, include my stuff. I used to not do that because we always talk about my junk too much anyway. But so if you come in, you can see I've kind of added in my little emblem up there. This is my alts gallery called Greenleaf Gallery. This is where I've moved all of the pieces that I've been building for this month's challenge. You'll see some things covered with a cardboard box. That's just for Green's convenience, covering up those that aren't actually being submitted for their consideration. So we have the Golden Rooster. That was 37 pieces altogether. It's basically just Hugel portraits and Oren fence pieces. The pedestal is a sparking wire and the bottom of an Exile's fence post. Moving on, we have what I call the fan peacock, because the tail is fanned out. This one is 28 pieces altogether. It's again Oren fence pieces. We kind of had a little bit of an obsession with that at the beginning. The cone or crown for his head is some of those, it's like flower vases. Yeah, flower vase decorative pink Oren. I would never remember that. The body of the peacock is Hugel statues. I think it's all the same one. It could be a couple of different ones, but I don't know. Sparking wires for the little stem of his legs, and then the pedestal he's on is two Gothic pillars, just one set and then the other one slightly turned to make it a little bit fancier looking. That's the only thing. Whoops, got stuck there. The next one is my favorite, what I call the draped peacock, because his tail is draped down along the column. Basically, he has the same exact materials as the first one, just arranged differently, but he's actually one item more. He was 29 pieces as opposed to the 28 from the other one. Over here we have just some goofy play with Oren domes. That's what all of these are. It's just domes. I actually don't remember how many pieces these are. I forgot to note that down. I think this one was like in the high 30s. This was like 20 something, and I think this was like around 19 if I remember right. I'll get those numbers later and be sure and include them in the write-up in the forums. Over here we have the clown faces. We have the sad one. That one was, gosh, I didn't even write that down either. I've got them listed, I just don't have the amounts. I want to say it was like 40 something for each of these, give or take. I can't really remember off the top of my head. Again, I'll make sure I get all that info in the post. But all of them, besides the framework and the background, it's all just Oren domes for everything. It's just we were playing around with different expressions and things like that, so you can see the different versions. Basically the face is kind of the same. We've just changed how the eyes are turned and the mouth, and gave them different hairdos, different hats, different collars, that kind of thing. This is one of the dragonflies that we did. Did I write that down? I think it was 35 for this one. I call it the robot dragonfly. It's made out of those streamers, like the very first pictures we were looking at. They used the Dominion version. This is the Exiles. It's a little bit blue. Tall files for most of the body and legs. And then, of course, the same pedestal thing that we used earlier. It's the sparking wire and the upside down Exiles post, fence post. Moving on, we have what I call the natural or nature themed dragonfly. This one was 34 pieces. It's again the orange fences, 2 pillars for the legs, and then for the body of the beast is mostly Merg explosives with a little bit of Merg dynamite for the very end. We have the dolphin sculpture. That one is 31 pieces. It's mostly Pugil statues for the green part of the body, for all of the blue for his fins and the water. That is glacier bits. I don't know if I think it was the glacier spires and stuff like that. And then for the pedestal, it's just 2 Cassian pillars. You've just seen the very tip of them. Over here is the hedgehog. Goodness, I have like too much junk. I didn't write that one down. I think we put him right at 50. I was actually over originally, and then I removed enough pieces down, so he's right at 50. That's mostly the brown thorny log piles for all of his little spikiness. Exile domes for most of his face, a couple of vent tanks for his eyes, and then the pedestal that he's on is a couple of fence posts, white picket fence posts, upside down. Here we have the turkey painting. He is 44 pieces, a lot of pieces. It's basically for the. I haven't been mentioning the frame, the same one used for the clowns and everything. This is the fireworks crate that you can get. Let me see if I can remember all this stuff. For his feathers and the bottom, well, his body, his arms is like the dark brown of all of his body. And the feet, those are all the same piece, just different parts. It's part of the Draken tribal pot, the tall one. The feet are the handle of it, the feathers are the side, and his brown body is the bottom of it. I think it's the red rockets for his little dangly bit that he has off of his face. Same rocket being used for the eyes, I think, or it could be fence posts. I hate to have to check every time. Okay, fence posts for his eyes, vent tanks for his pupils of the eyes. His hat is made out of tires, and the same frame for the picture is being used for the little buckle on his hat as well. Cassian domes, it's just to make a little bit of a line between his arms and his belly so you can kind of see the difference there. His beak, again, is the same thing that his feet are made of. It's the tribal pot. And the collar is a chest, a gold chest. I needed something that would look like a little bit of a collar thing. Then we have the eye. The eyeball. This one was 50 exactly. Gosh, let me see if I can remember what all's in this thing. The frame again is the fireworks box. The background is cardboard box. Same way with the lids of the eye, the bottom part and the top is all cardboard boxes. The white of the eye is the red rocket. It's the bottom. The red rocket is the white one with the red tip, and I'm using the bottom, the white part. For the little highlights in the eyes, those are fence posts. The reason I use the fence posts for the smaller bits is because the smaller the red rocket one is, the less it shows up at a distance. And if I was backing off like here, those would already be gone. And the fence post tends to be visible even at a small size, at a good distance. So I usually use that for smaller detail. The pupil of the eye is the vent tank, as well as the trim around the eye, just to kind of help highlight it a little bit. The green coloring of the iris is two different leafy stalks. There's the leafy stalk 2 for the lighter color, and the darker one is the leafy stalk 1. The eyebrow is tires, just different sizes and tilted slightly, so um, the lashes and the kind of the lining of the eyes, that's a combination of hanging cables and I think it's the Protostar, yeah, barbed fence. It's not my best effort on the lashes, but it's the best I could come up with, especially considering I was like right at the limit when I was done with this anyway. So I'm sure someone else can figure out a much better way to do that. Our last dragonfly is the tribal version. That one is 28 pieces. It's the Draken shield, what I call a pillow. It's not really a pillow, it's a shield, but it looks like a pillow to me. It's fluffy. For the body, Draken pointy spears for the legs, and the spears Draken for the wings. Just a weird little funky thing. The pedestal is the same as I've done before. Sparking wire, bottom of the exile bit. Over here we have the psychedelic looking butterfly. I'm not sure. I think it come up to 30 pieces on that. It's 2 bowls, similar to Maddie's framing for the flower stuffs. For all of the gold trim for the wings and the antennas and the body of the butterfly, it's the Hugel portraits. And then for the coloring on the interior of the wings, it's a combination of different fireworks. This one's the Cassian candle. I think that's the, what is that? The blue fountain one. There's also the green one. And then we have a couple of the white ones as well. Red rockets, but it's the white part of it showing through. Over here we have the snail. He was, I don't know, forget to write down my number. I got everybody else's stuff, but mine I kind of forgot. He's all Oran domes, except for the stalks of his eyes. Those are Oran pillars. Everything else is domes. I honestly don't remember how many pieces he was. But then he's on also the white picket fence upside down for his little pedestal. And then the last one I think is the horse. He ended up being, again, I can't remember. I am so bad at this for my own stuff. I want to say it was like 30 something. I honestly don't remember what it was. Merg explosives for the body and for the head. Merg dynamite for the legs, and the Osun chain links for his mane and his tail. We'll be seeing some alternate versions of these. I've passed along a copy of it to Poi for use on her plot, and Marshall also used a version. I didn't give him a copy of the set. He just used what he saw off of the video to build one similar to it, but he asked permission. I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Was the snail around 42? I honestly can't remember. Again, I'll make sure I have all that information in the forum thread when I post it. I was naughty. I have it listed, but I forgot to add the amounts. So there you go. That's mine. Again, it's probably like too many entries, but I couldn't help myself. It was kind of a fun challenge for me. So okay, I think I got them all. There's nothing inside, so it's just all outside. So that's on Culantro Greenleaf if you want to come and look. I plan to continue adding more pieces because, again, with the challenge, keeping everything within 50 pieces or less, it's allowed me to fill this up with quite a few works. So there's still plenty of room for more. So I may make that a goal, is to keep all of the pieces here, 50 items. I may end up moving these ones that aren't somewhere else in the future. So the next one we're going to visit is Aurora's place. Her alt is Zafira. I'm trying to spell it right here. You just fast counted. Well, it's probably pretty close, a lot closer than my guessing. Some of the ones I thought they would be way more, and they turned out to be considerably less than what I was anticipating, and others were the opposite, so it's really hard to tell. Again, I'm not trying to be rude and not showing the plots that these projects are located on, but that's the object of this showcase, is just to show the projects, not the plots. We have toured Aurora's place in the past, so you can always catch them there. Let's see which way we want to start. We'll start with the owl. So Aurora has put together many different sculptures and paintings. So we're going to run through them. The owl is 33 pieces. It was originally 31, and Aurora added the little pedestal that it's on, which looks to be a granite cylinder type object with the brown, that wooden table as a topper. Some of those dry dead trees, the stump thingies for the little bit. Looks like what is that? One of those swirly trees put inside there. But look at the owl, isn't he cute? Or maybe that's her version of a hoogle. But how adorbs is that? I think it's a clever, awesome use of the tacos. It was tacos for the beak and tacos for the claws. I think that's awesome use of that particular item. I've tried coming up with ways of using it. I've tested it in different things, and it never really fits, but this is perfect for that. The eyes are red moon vents with domes for his chest area, his eyes, and then the sleepy lids. And then it looks like multiple hugel statues for the rest of his body and wings and that kind of thing. It just kind of beefed it up, looked a lot nicer. I see you over there sitting on his lap. But I think the best thing was the tacos. That was an unexpected little bit. All right, Bones. You have a good day. Thank you for dropping by. The next sculpture, which doesn't really have a stand, is the Falling Man, made out of swirly stones. I don't know if it's the same one for all the way through or different ones. But he ended up being, let's see, 112 pieces, I think. with some icicle bits giving that motion of falling. Look at the detail. I mean, he's even got like his rear end there. Lots of pieces. That's just outrageous. I like how the swirly is like his face is like, huh? You know, I'm falling. Oh gosh. So it's the same stone, yeah. I love doing that, trying to come up with something using the same thing. Next to him is the skier guy. This one, 50 pieces for this. Look at all of those bits. Now this is, it's like an overgrowth, but it's the winter version. I don't remember the name of that exactly, but it's kind of like the overgrowth. It's just like it's a clump of snow, and then it's got the icicles hanging out. It's all one piece, and they've used it just multiple times. Again, that those sickles kind of give you that motion effect, like they're just zooming through. The skis themselves are metal planks, and it looks like their little ski poles are sparking wires. You can kind of see the spark coming out of the hands there. Yeah, I saw. I'll be getting to him shortly. The pedestal looks to be the tops of some pillars, probably the Cassian one of those. Then we've got two cobras. One fits within the 50 limit. This one is exactly 50. It's made out of, looks like sandbags for all of the body. Clever using the stone as the pedestal it's on. For his little cobra symbol in the back, it looks like the hanging wires. It looks like a big clump. And then two tires. For his tongue, it's the red dynamite firework. And for his eyes, what is that? Looks like the little tan sack or something. The bottom of it, the little sack for his eye. So that one's 50 pieces, but Aurora wanted to give a little bit more detail and went above the 50. I think this one was 105 altogether. So it's basically the same idea, just more detailed. So you can see like there's an interior for the mouth, pink pillows, got some icicles for fangs. This one's fangless. He's like been neutered or something. He has nothing to bite you with. And then extra detail on the cobra marking on the back. There's the tires and the hanging cables, but more of them, and then added in the green bowls multiple times to not only fill in this part but also the round bit. Also, it looks like added a little bit more curvature in his body down here as well. Just a different layout. Oh, was it 101? I'll write that down. I think you meant the Hobbit house. Yeah, you can see the difference. I mean, with the detail. Sometimes it's worth it for the extra, but if you're, you know, again, if you're working on a challenge or you're limited, you know, but you're wanting to put something in there, then you have to kind of decide, okay, what details can I leave out? That kind of thing. Let's go ahead and go with this one. This is the the Hobbit house painting. You said this was 101 pieces. I can believe it. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I see all sorts of, like the thinker head, some of the ginkgo trees, um, mossy overgrowth. I see a lot of sandstones for the walkway, the willow trees, not only for trees, but also some of the ground bits here. Gray stones for all of the bridge and such. What's being used for the water? Is that the frozen lakes? And of course, decking, fencing for the railing here. Oops. Oran windows for the door and the window. Trying to see what the handle is. Like that little bitty. I can get my camera to get on there. I'm just going to be rude and hop up. What is that? It's like the top of the, it's like the acorn, isn't it? The little top of the fence piece. The word Hobbit looks like it's spelt with the edges of the sandstone again. The framework is, I think it's the metal bowl being used. 2x4s for the bottom part here. And then one of the bottles, I think, for the background. It's a nice background. It's kind of modeled a little bit. It's nice. Yeah, the plank. Just gotta push it in a little bit, make it behave. Because it's kind of cutting up the letter here as well. You'll have to tweak it. Beat it into submission there. Okay, then because the Falling Man statue was over the limit at 112, Aurora decided to make a painting version. And this one was 50 pieces exactly. You can see it's basically the same concept, just done in a different way. Having him falling, using the stones, the swirly stones, and then adding those icicles in there for the motion. What'd you use for the black? I know the frame itself is the Hugel portrait, but I'm curious about the black on that. I want to say it's vent tanks, but I'm not sure. I think you would have had to use more than what I see. It only looks like there's like 2 there. The Pale Ritual Pot. Oh, well, I'll have to keep that in mind. That's a nice, pretty rich black. I mean, you can see there's a little bit of lightness here, but from straight on, it's hardly noticeable. Like a nice, clean black. It's good for caves and stuff. Oh, this is the ritual pot. Okay, I've got it backwards. So this is vent tanks. Well, there you go. We'll get it straight. It's just due to the delay there. Don't worry about it. Okay, this landscape, I think you said was 50 pieces. This kind of reminds me of your plot, actually. Like it's a mini version of it. We've got frozen lakes for not only the blue water down here, but if you flip it over, the color's a little different, and they used it as the clouds. I suspect the sun is maybe the skull, the golden skull, the top of it. Icicles for the waterfall part, with the frozen lake as the top part. Thinker heads for a lot of the mossy ground. And of course, for all of the stone bit, it's the purple rock arch. The pink flowers, those are the, I think it's the tall finger flower plants. And then these little bits here, that kind of looks like a ruins or like a, oh, what do you call it, Stonehenge kind of thing. It's just small obsidian stones, I think. A lot of nice little detail. The blue, I don't know what that is. It kind of looks like the Exile table blue, but I'm not sure. A little bit of sandstone as well. Sun is the yellow dot of the blue mushroom thingy. Wow. That's like some focus bit there. Oh, okay, so that's what you meant by mushroom with Maddie's bit. Well, yeah. What's the blue for like the sky? Yeah, I like it. All of them are lovely. Just some, you have your own favorites. It's a learning experience, I think, when you're putting these together and you see what works and what doesn't, and later on as you keep doing them, you improve, I think. But yeah, this is a lovely little build. Even at 100 and some pieces, I think is what. No, this is at 50. So see, that works. Okay, next we have the elephant. Got a good shot of Mr. Elephant here. He's 50 pieces, so he is well within the limit there. Now again, the framework is those fireworks boxes. We've been liking that a lot. It's a nice, clean way. It's good and thick, as you can see, so you can hide a lot of the extra bits along the edges that normally you couldn't in other situations. But Mr. Elephant is made out of, it looks like the sandbags again, with the Draken shields for his eyes. And the tusks, I imagine, is probably from one of the either the Arctera bone things, like maybe that ice fang snaky head thing, or we've got a lot of bone decor from the Draken and Pell bits that probably have bones that you could use if you can't get a hold of one of those. But I suspect it's the fang one. Looks like the ice serpent. Is that the one? Hobbit House is fixed. I'm gonna go look. Yay, it's fixed. See, I knew it was kind of a little wonky because the T wasn't showing up right. Good, I'll take another screenshot of it. I think I took one this morning of it a little kind of wonky, so I'll fix it. Of course, you got the sandstones and the different grasses like the algarook. I think it's the sheared grass for some of it. I suspect the brown is probably, for the ground, is probably cardboard box. I only say that because of this spot here. It kind of reminds me of what I've seen on it before. For the white of the sky, I imagine that's the bottom of the gear trophy. And then we have this beautiful savannah picture with the lion. Now, this one kind of got out of hand. This is 137 pieces, so clearly it doesn't fit the criteria of the 50-piece limit, but look how amazing that is. It's just the detail on it. It's nuts. Again, I think it's some of the grasses being used for the trees. The mossy log for the base of the trees, the trunks. For the lion himself, it's the golden wheatgrass, I think, for his mane and the little tuft on his tail. The sandstones for his body. For his eyes, I suspect it's like the top of one of the wine bottles. Looks like some grain sacks for some of the features. I see even like, I think the white part of his nose and the chin is the mop. Grain sacks for like the inside of the ear, that kind of thing. just so many details in there. But since it didn't fit with the criteria, Aurora went ahead and just figured out that you don't have to have the whole scene, but just focus on the head, and that would make it fit. So the lion head is 49 pieces. So you get a better shot. It's even a better close-up kind of thing. So again, mops, sandbags for the eyes, bottle tops. Not sure what's being used for the white there. Looks like the edge of a plate or something. But how great is that? Bowl for the frame, I think, and bottom of one of the bottles, or the ritual pots or something for the back. This one, I kept calling it the fleur-de-lis, but I guess it's not exactly right. Aurora just calls it a flower. It's an Oran window with, I think it's the round brown table, the wooden table, and then just an arrangement of like the curved walls, I think. I don't know if it's the half curved or the full curved. It might be a combination of the two. But made this nice little flower design. There's some bowls, I think. No, wait, that's not a bowl. What is that? What's this part here? Thought that was a bowl, but it looks something different. This is a firework, the bottom of the red rocket. The blue dots are the tall files. Excuse me. But I'm not sure what this part here is. Oh, excuse me. And then last but not least, we have the squirrel. How adorbs is he? Again, sandbags for a lot of the body. Oh, this must be the spoons, isn't it? That you use for the eyes, the white parts. White is spoons, and this is the toilet paper. Okay. I just now recognized it just as you were saying it. I was like, oh, I remember, because you've used that in other places, I think. And I see the curved of it. So yeah, that's the spoons for that, for the outline of the eyes. Looks like vent tank for part of it. Some of the bramble bushes, the things I like to use for the trees, for some of the bits on that. Let's see, what's the acorn made out of? Looks like a sandstone for the bottom part. For the little cap, it's the sandbags again. How cute is that, though? It's really good use of, like, with the tail, having the line of the sack follow along. It helps define it much better. And it's like you've shaded it, even though you're using the shading of the bag itself. It's really clever use of decor there. Looks like this is what, is that mop? Like giant mop or not? It's hard to tell. Doesn't have the lines like I would expect. But he's getting his nuts for winter, I guess. You just wanted to add more, huh? So yeah, the squirrel is, well, it says the squirrel is 50, right? And the flower is 55. Okay, you're talking about this one, I think. Yeah, it's hard. Hard. It's like some of the pieces I made were a little over. Mops, okay. So that's what the light part of his body is, mops. Really nice job. I can imagine a lot of people wanting some of these in their houses. Okay, I think I got all of them then. I think so, yes. So on to Will Reedward. This is Bones's place. It's a work in progress, so the building itself is not really ready. But Bones presented what they call stabby bowl. I don't know how many pieces the bowl is, but it looks to be triangle pieces inside a dome to make this little artsy kind of dish. I can imagine this would be a good topper for uh, some kind of a gazebo. This would make a good flower kind of base. It also reminds me of, what do they call that little thing for, what is it, badminton? The birdie or something? What do they call that thing? The little, it's usually white and it's kind of a little bit longer, but it's got like frilly ends. I don't know what it's called, but that's what it reminds me of. But cleverly arranged. I If I tried to freehand that, it would be such a mess. And then the other piece was the Art Deco decoration for the wall. I call it like an Art Deco mural, but it looks like they're planning to use it for several places in here, so it's just going to become part of the architecture. Again, it looks like just Oran walls, I think, for this stone looking bit. And then they've used the edges of the other floors for the trim to make these different lines. So they've got some of the domes, which I suspect is probably the Cassian ones, because I think the Cassian ones has that grayish color. It's not exactly black, but it's close. And then the others, and just think about all the different pieces they had to use. I think they said it was 39 pieces for this section of wall. That's a lot. Considering if you're going to be making a full building, that that'll add up fast. So I hope it doesn't get too out of hand for them. Okay, and then the last one is unfortunately way too many for the challenge, but I promised I would show it anyway. Because again, while some of us made projects that went beyond the limit, I still want to show that the effort was made and just how easily it can get out of hand if you're not careful. This is Bucky's entry on Donna Troy's plot. I think it started as one horse and quickly became a full-on two-horse pulled chariot because one horse is, I think they said 75 pieces for one horse, so that was well beyond. They said, oh, what the heck, I'm already over the limit, I'm just going to go nuts. So they made the two horses and the chariot. So the horses themselves are made out of some of these snow pieces, the ice rock blocks. There's the cubes, there's the snow clumps as well for some of the joints here. Rather than using the cornerstones, which would have required even more pieces to make that, they just used the snow clumps. So it's slightly misshapen. It's not a perfect round, but it's close enough. For the mane and tail, you can see they use the spines of the books. And for this kind of horse, it works really well because they're known for like having their tail and everything really nicely trimmed. They didn't leave it all bushy and stuff, so it makes sense that it would be nice and perfectly shaped. For the little harnesses, it's the hanging wires. For the hooves, it's granite domes, I believe. For the eyes, it looks to be vent tanks. Notice they didn't give any detail like nostrils or an open mouth or like the little bits coming off of their face or anything like that. They've kept that pretty simple. But you can see all of the pieces that went into just the horse itself. There's a lot of stuff there. For the chariot thing itself, it's mostly hover part pieces, um, Cassian pillars, granite pillars, and Hugel pieces, Hugel portraits for some of the decal, the design. It's a really cute thing. I imagine if someone wanted to do some kind of a Roman uh, like arena. A lot of people like having arenas, so a Roman style one with the columns and the Colosseum type of thing with some gladiators fighting and stuff. This would be a fun little piece to add in there. Yeah, I love the idea of the books. The books, again, it's one of those versatile items. We've seen them used as cabinetry, stairs, picture frames. Uh, you know, I love items that can be used beyond what they're, you know, specifically intended. Like for so long, I thought the tacos were useless, but you actually come up with a use for them beyond being a taco. So, you know, yay for that. But that's again one of the fun things about these projects, this challenge that we issue every month. It you know you never know what kind of ideas you're going to see or come up with on your own, um, that you can use uh, down the road for something else. So yeah. So that's it, guys. I hope you had fun. I certainly enjoyed seeing all of the different approaches to the challenge, um, the give and take that people did. You know, the willingness of them saying, "Well, it's not quite the right limit, so let me see if I can trim it back a little bit," and you know, showing the two different uh, uh, versions, like with Aurora's like Cobras, seeing the limited version and then the one where they just kind of let themselves go. That's always fun to see the comparison between the two. Also, the variety of different things. I mean, we had plenty of different sculptures, plenty of different paintings, all manner of themes. We've had, you know, landscapes, animal related uh, projects. People, um, abstracts. There's just the pure just freedom to do whatever you guys wanted was astounding to see what you come up with, what things you focused on. Um, so I really appreciate those that participated this month. I hope you had fun. I will again be posting some tweets out for this, and I will be posting a pretty extensive forum thread because I'm going to be using that for Green to be able to refer as far as amounts of things used so that they know what to look at, and all that kind of stuff. So again, I much appreciate it. I hope you guys had as much fun working on it as we did checking all of your projects out. It's been a pleasure. And of course, if you haven't participated in these challenges before and you think it's something you'd like to get in on, I highly recommend joining us Thursday for December's CBDC theme announcement. There's a special thing in place for that, so I'm pretty excited to share it. And I'm hoping that it will encourage more people to participate. While we don't necessarily do like traditional prizes and awards and things like that, I want to keep it more just kind of for funsies. That way people don't feel um, let down or depressed if theirs doesn't win a prize or anything. I think everybody's has notable benefit to everybody. I mean, yeah, some may not be as complex as others, but it's those, I hate to use the word simplified, but the less complicated things often are the more practical for your general players because some folks just prefer that less complicated type of approach to a lot of their um, additions to their plot, especially if they have, like, say it's a city plot. A city plot not only takes up your landscaping and your building, but all of the details inside. You don't often have the opportunity to spend 100 to 200 pieces on one little added extra. And having something 50 items or less, for example, is a great way to be able to add something unique, personalized, without spending too much decor on it. So yeah, I know some feel like, well, in comparison to such and such as mine, are awful. It's really not true. They all have beauty in their own way. There's cleverness in how you choose to combine certain things. I love being able to see how somebody will take the same items and come up with something completely different in how they've combined them, how they view them, how they position them. It's just this one of the things I love about housing, just the complete freedom that you have. So if you haven't participated in it before, or you didn't get a chance to do it this time, I do hope you find some time to squeeze out that you can participate in next month's, because I guarantee you're going to be happy that you did. Um, it's going to be one of those, we're not going to do this all the time. Obviously, it's a special occasion kind of thing, but I'm hoping that it will draw a lot of builders out of the woodwork, um, just for the opportunity that may be given. I'm not going to say too much else, otherwise I'm going to just blurt it out. But look forward to that on Thursday. Of course, tomorrow we'll be doing house tours. I've got a full lineup on that. In fact, I'm considering just going crazy and having like 5 or 6 homes on the list for tomorrow. So be prepared if you plan on stopping by and hanging out with us. You may be there for a long haul. So bring some drinks and snacks and other goodies to keep you occupied while we go through it. But that's it for today, guys. Again, I will be tweeting these out and posting in the forums. If there's any corrections in the forums that need correcting, just drop me a note and I'll change it up for you. But I'm hoping I got all the notes in order. So thanks again. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.